A world based on rules, international law, and obligations which the West loves to talk about has long ceased to exist. Usurpation of power, working in the interests of foreign governments, indifference to their own people, illegal restrictions and sanctions. This is just a partial list of what should not happen. Such policies once led to revolutions. Not the kind we see today, but real ones, inspired from within the country, not from outside. Today, European protest sentiments are not as radical, but they are also tired of what is happening. How can one endure when they are told directly it will only get worse, it will only get harder?
Next year will not be easy. The coming years will not be easy. If someone says otherwise, they are deceiving you.
Times are tough now. We all feel it. Our economy is struggling. Life has become more expensive.
With such New Year's promises, only a madman would vote for these two politicians. During the so-called traffic light coalition's time in power, the economic and social situation in Germany has become critical. Ratings have hit rock bottom, resulting in a power vacuum and elections on February 23rd. It's no surprise that the popularity of the Alternative for Germany party continues to grow, firmly establishing itself in second place according to recent polls. But it seems if Musk speaks out for AfD a couple more times and criticizes Scholz in his style, Alice Weidel will have every chance.
Musk has begun to more openly join the international far-right movement. It's not just that he expresses his opinion. He increasingly gathers a group of various people, influential, legal-minded individuals with many supporters, presenting their evidence as a basis for his intervention in European politics, whether in Germany, but lately mainly in the UK.
Oh yes, Musk has also had a hand in the UK commotion, and quite successfully. The popular Starmer, who is predicted to resign soon, has moved several steps closer to it. In short, the American businessman is convinced that the current Prime Minister covered up horrific crimes while working at the Crown Prosecution Service. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of cases of mass rapes of children and women by migrants. This issue was brought to light back in 2018, but nothing has changed since then.
In this century, over 250,000 young white girls have been raped, mostly by Muslim men. Several times a day over many years. What is the government doing to hold accountable those in power who turned a blind eye to all this because they feared being labeled Islamophobic?
No answer has been given. Instead, Starmer decided to squirm like a snake and respond to Musk with accusation upon accusation, essentially saying, "You're the fool."
Those who spread lies and misinformation as far as possible are not interested in the victims. They are interested in themselves.
However, time and elections will show who the selfish one is in this story. And now a bit about Austria. There, even without Musk, things have somehow tilted to the right. Chancellor Nehammer resigned, and the new government is being formed by the leader of a right-wing populist and pro-Russian political force. The Austrian Freedom Party, led by Herbert Kickl, intends to take the reins with the president's blessing. By the way, they won the elections in September, but due to a liberal conspiracy, they did not come to power then.
Over these 100 days, some have tried to change the election results retroactively, tried to turn them upside down and interpret the will of the voters, and create a government of losers. But I said from the beginning that this was an irresponsible experiment, that the last word had not yet been spoken. I predicted that the government would fail.
By the way, the scheme with the Austrian elections is very similar to the French scenario. Remember when Le Pen's leading party dropped from first to third place in the second round? Clever minds work there too. And after Macron, thanks to his manipulations, still hasn't been impeached, he, attention, dares to accuse others of election interference.
Just a few weeks ago, Romania was forced to cancel presidential elections due to interference and manipulation clearly attributed to Russia. Who would have thought about this just 10 years ago? France itself has faced unacceptable interference in most of its territories, especially in New Caledonia in recent months from Azerbaijan. Who would have thought? And If we were told that the owner of one of the world's largest social networks would support a new reactionary international and directly interfere in elections, including in Germany, who could have imagined it? This is the world we live in and have to deal with.
Engage in diplomacy. What kind of diplomacy he was talking about is unclear. The politics of ultimatums and demands is certainly not about that. But that's not the point. I really want to believe that the blue-fingered leader of France will soon join those already on the sidelines of political history. Though they shouldn't worry about the future. The French Georgian Zurabishvili was also seen off. Spoiler, without honors, but she didn't grieve for long. Suddenly, she became a Kissinger Fellow at the American McCain Institute. In general, welcome to the USA. After all, Soros doesn't abandon his own. At least not yet.